So, yeah. And then we've actually, so the yeah. Sorry? It's possible.
The premise is that lower the movie, the better the return
So
probability.
let me just finish 3-4 slides, then we can definitely come back to that. So this is actually a lot of tables and numbers, but I think what you need to forget the returns and forget the allocations and stuff on the top. What you need to keep in mind is that you do a simple debt equity allocation based on these kind of valuation models. What you will find is that for any time frame, the volatility of this product is lower than equity and lower than Sensex, which is what you should ideally get. That is what you would expect because you have some debt in it. But actually what you'll also realize that the risk adjusted return also tends to improve. So basically wherever you get a green shading, it's a heat map. So wherever you get green shading means you got the best result. Where you get a yellow shade means that you just about got average or not that great. And red means it's a bad result. So what you will see is that on each observation in the volatility you get the best possible or the least possible volatility, and you almost always get the best possible risk adjusted return. So it reduces exposure when markets are expensive. It continuously, because of the rebalancing based on valuations, it continuously dampens volatility. That is what I showed in the data. And it gives you superior risk adjusted return across holding periods. And the second part is basically, this is more in terms of life stage solutions kind of thing. The previous one was a simple debt equity balanced kind of solution. This second part actually helps you to customize by client profile, by risk profile of clients. Right? Yeah. So basically here we have created 3 or 4 different types of portfolios. I'll not spend too much time on this slide. I'll quickly go through all the portfolios. But basically what it says is, we can actually provide 3 or 4 different types of portfolios where you can allocate clients' money depending on, the first 3-4 slides I showed you what kind of segments and what kind of profiling you can make. So based on those profiles, you can actually identify the right solution and then allocate it. See, couple of important points. If you can just move to the next one. Just move to the next one. So there are 4 different types of portfolio. Just to explain you in a simple basis. The first example is of an equal weighted portfolio. Let's say we take 4 or 5 asset classes. You take a liquid, you take the 10-year benchmark, you take Nifty, you take mid cap, you take Asian equities or Chinese equities Hang Seng, you take Nasdaq, which is global equity, largely US and global equity. You take gold, and you just put 14% in each asset class. Now what it actually shows you, that even if you blindly divide money into these 5 or 6 different asset classes, 14% in 7 different asset classes, if you just blindly divide, you will still get a better result than any one asset class on a risk adjusted basis. These are examples of, we made similar calculations. So if you do so previous one was equal weighted. Here what we've done is we've taken a conservative. So if you take conservative, obviously you know that equity and international equity will be lower, but fixed income and debt would be higher. Moderate. And then there is a dynamic portfolio. So we've done equal weight, conservative, moderate, and dynamic is obviously something aggressive, but at the same time it is actively rebalanced. So I'm not getting into the nitty-gritties of the management of the product, but 2 or 3 things that I wanted to just highlight to you. If it has come across as saying that, okay, you are handing over money and I am going to manage it, yes, that is partly true, but that's not entirely true. Because what we are doing is, we are standing here obviously, and we are trying to create this offering jointly on the Next Advisors platform as an offering to members of Next Advisors. So there are a couple of things which we are doing. I'm sure I have to work with the team and finalize it, but there are a couple of things which we are doing. One, even before coming here, and whatever models and asset classes which have been selected, like how the bands of the valuation index have been created, what kind of allocation should go in, what kind of asset classes should be picked, what should be the portfolio structure. A lot of these things have already been customized or done as per some advice or some feedback from the team in Next Advisors. And as a second stage, what we are actually planning to work on, because ultimately what am I doing? In this case, the role of my AMC is just of a facilitator. What facilitation do we do? Number one, we obviously have some expertise of doing quants and asset allocation. Like my colleague Anubhav, who manages these portfolios, is here with me. He is a MS in quantitative finance. He has done this work for a lot of American AMCs while he was working for Sintel as well as so on the KPO for State Street. So we have some expertise within our team itself to manage these portfolios. That is one. The second facilitation we do obviously is that some of the building blocks we also provide. So here, if you've seen how kids play with Lego blocks, what do Lego blocks do? If you bought a box of Lego blocks, you can pretty much create what you like. So what do you need for that? You just need a facilitator. So what we are actually doing is, we are doing some bit of facilitation from our side. We are taking away the operations and the back office and the reporting mechanisms and those kind of headaches. Needless to say, you need a portfolio management license. Obviously, we have a portfolio management license. And the last important thing is 2 points. I'm sure the team from Next Advisors will get back to you and confirm this to you. But we are also looking, when we are saying that you should be advising your clients, that I should not be dictating a solution to you. So we are trying to evolve some mechanisms whereby we create asset allocation models with feedback from you as well as from the team from Next Advisors. Now, how that mechanism comes in is obviously what we can actually do. We are looking to form a product committee whereby once in a couple of months, we pull in some of the key contributors onto a product committee kind of table and take feedback of what clients are thinking, give our views on what asset classes are doing and what is the market scenario, and try to kind of give you solutions instead of telling you that, okay, this is what is done now, let's get it to roll. And of course, over a period of time, as the goals of clients change, you can obviously move from one portfolio allocation to another. This is just, there is another thing which I had actually picked up, and this is probably the last slide, which is that, a lot of times what happens is, the biggest failure, and there are some within this room, of course, there is Karan here. They have created some of these solutions which are very, very successful when you do multi-asset portfolios. But even Karan will agree with me that sometimes when equity does very, very well, the client comes and tell you that ये solution तो underperform कर रहा है. Sometimes when debt does very well, the client comes and tells you, अरे यार इसमें तो enough debt नहीं है. Sometimes when gold is rocketing up, the client will say, इसमें gold कम है यार, पूरा ही gold में कर देते हैं. These kind of things happen. If you want to make a success, whether it is the solution which I am talking to you or whether it is Axis Triple Advantage, you need to understand one thing. If you want to make a success out of promoting solutions to your clients, you need to, like Mark said, I'll give you one question to ask. I'll also show you one question to ask. What you should actually do, if you can go to the next slide. You go to your client with this chart. I'm going to show you a chart. You go to your client with a chart, stack up the asset class returns of last 10 years, and ask your client, where would you like to be? Which asset class do you want to be in now? Okay, so for those at the back, basically this is just, whatever I showed right now, conservative portfolio, moderate portfolio, aggressive portfolio, different types of asset allocations. Basically what it shows is 2008 to 2009, commodity was number 1 in performance, fixed income was number 2, liquid funds were number 3, a conservative asset allocator portfolio was number 4, a moderate asset allocator portfolio was number 5. Okay, that's the pecking order. For each financial year, we have given you the pecking order. Now, if your client has this dissatisfaction with solutions and he wants to still find out which is going to be the best performing fund, you need to place this reality in front of him and tell him, where do you want to be? I can assure you one thing. If he picks commodity, he will find that ultimately someday commodity is going to be the last. And you can't be an expert at predicting everything in future. Ultimately, what the client will realize if you do this is that the conservative portfolio, moderate portfolio, aggressive portfolio, whatever you pick at most points in time, that comes somewhere in the first half, and different asset classes always sometime or the other end up hitting the bottom half or the absolute nadir, right? So if you are able to show these very simple tools and explain to them how different asset classes blend together and how you actually get a better result, and of course you have a need to be giving solutions. You any which way don't want to get trapped into the other side of the story, right? So this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much. There are one or two slides on what my company does. I don't need to show you slides. Basically, we are part of Motilal Oswal Financial Services, which was a company started in probably amongst my parent company or my sponsor company is amongst the top 2 broking entities in the country. So the largest of hedge funds, FIIs, insurance companies, pension funds, most people who invest in India, as well as a lot of local institutions, they deal with Motilal Oswal as far as research is concerned. So last 25 years we've been managing equity. Out of that, our chairman, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal, was there in the morning. Last 17 years he has been publishing his wealth creation study. He is known to be one of the renowned expert equity investors in India. And as a company, we have been running portfolio management services for the last 10 years. We are probably amongst the largest portfolio management services providers in India. We also have achieved some amount of recognition as an innovator which provides exchange traded funds. So portfolio management services is one vertical, exchange traded funds is the second. And I think exchange traded funds on their own are no use unless and until you can wrap them into solutions. Because exchange traded funds are like Lego blocks. And you can't do much with 1 or 2 Lego blocks. You actually need to create something out of it. So portfolio management services is one business. Exchange traded funds and asset allocators is the second business. And very recently, we've started managing open-ended equity funds. So we launched our first fund. So as a house, we are a pure equity player. We don't understand too much in fixed income, so we don't try to do too much in fixed income. And it's difficult right now because equity is out of fashion. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you have any questions, I'm most happy to answer. Are we on time? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kanak. We'll take any questions. Should we take? We can take questions or we take it offline.
Okay. Thank you, Aashish. It was. I'll request. Who's there? Atul to just hand over this to him. So far, whatever we have been listening, it is all again and again throughout the day, it's all about segmenting. We need to be more focused and we need to segment ourselves. That's what Aashish also conveyed to us. And it's all about solution based. And now I think we have a solution for direct. Did we got the clue? We all were worried about direct investments and an advisor cannot be of any use at this point. So I think we have a solution through Next Advisor and Motilal Oswal about the direct investments. So this is a place where we can go ahead. We all were talking about products and products innovation. There is a small, so Ramesh bhai actually inspired me. So when he is talking all the jokes, he told me, so let's have one on a banker. What happens? One day, a banker visited a tailor shop. And what happened? And he asked to make a trousers for himself. And after 3 days, when the banker returns, he got a ghagra made for himself. Then the banker says, I never ordered for a ghagra, I ordered for a trouser. So, bola, yes, I visited your bank yesterday. Again, it's a bank, not a IFA. So I visited your bank and I wanted a secured FD and I left the place with a unit-linked insurance plan. So that's it. So products are very, very important and right products to our right client. So that's what the theme is. So I'll request Ramesh to introduce the next speaker. Thank you.
Thanks, Kanak, for the lovely joke again. And next we have a dynamic speaker, the growing business in troubled times. I call on Mr. Karan. Mr. Karan is a national sales head, Axis Mutual Fund. He's a management postgraduate with specialization in finance and with 18 years of experience in the industry. I present Mr. Karan here.
Thank you. Good evening, namaste, team Next Advisors and all of you out here. I think you guys have been having a great day filled with excitement. I know it started with Pankaj, with Milind. It also had Motilal ji coming in for a talk. And during the day, you've obviously heard a lot of speakers talk about mutual funds, dhanda, etc., etc. My topic was building a business in tough times, and I have a confession to make. The confession is I took the liberty of changing a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. And I just told Nikhil some time ago कि मैंने ये liberty खुद ही ले ली है. While the topic remains as building business in tough times, but the content has changed a little bit. And the reason for that is I love sports. It's a confession I'm making. I love sports. I love to play. And during these years, I found a connect between sports and business. So when ये जब मेरे को topic मिला of building business in tough times, I really thought hard कि मैं क्या बोलूँ. Building business in tough times में बोलूँ तो बोलूँ क्या. Access has just started. Tough times में ही start किया है. All that is fine. But I really wanted to, kind of do something which takes into experiences that I've had and then kind of link it back into business. So if you permit me, I have a few slides to share on my experiences. First of all, sorry Jigar, just go back if you don't mind. There's this gentleman called Michael Jordan, who's the world's greatest